Welcome to week 3 of our journey through the Beatitudes as they are presented in the stained glass windows at the chapel of St. John the Divine. Today, Doug will guide us through 2 more examples of the words given to us by Jesus Christ. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. And blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. And now, let's go see Doug.
This is our third set of windows which depict the Beatitudes, and this first one has Jesus kneeling in the Garden of Gethsemane. You can see the branches of the olive trees which fill the garden, and the angel is coming to comfort him by letting the Spirit drift down on him. The Beatitude is, blessed are they which hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. The word that is used here for hunger and thirst in Greek is one that we don't quite have the translation for, but it means to be absolutely starving, absolutely gasping for something to drink. When you and I think of being hungry and thirsty, we think, well, it's almost noon, we need to go grab a snack or go get something to eat or eat a candy bar. The hunger and thirst that's being talked about here is absolutely close to death, hunger and thirst. In other words, you are going to die if you don't get some nourishment. And so it's saying, how blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Because if you are starving for righteousness in your life, you'll be filled. I know that in my own life, that when I finally came to a place where I began to let myself be emptied of my own spirit and let God's Spirit come inside, I felt refreshed. I felt filled. I felt revived because I was being filled with righteousness, God's righteousness, and let go of all those things which kept me away. This cup, of course, which is the chalice that Jesus had at the Last Supper, from which he said, "This is my blood, drink this in remembrance of me," is symbolically here by the artist. And here's Jesus when he was praying in the Garden of Gethsemane saying, "Lord, please don't make me do this." He said it differently by saying, "Take this cup from me. Don't let me drink from this cup." But what we're saying is, in his humanness, he didn't want to have to go through what he was going to have to do to die on the cross. But immediately caught himself and emptied himself of that and said, "No, but not my will, but your will, Lord, will be done." That gave him the strength and filled him with the ability to stand up and go into that crucifixion unafraid. In his humanness, he was as afraid as you or I would be. But in his divinity, he was able to stand up and do what God had called him to do. Blessed are they which hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. And this means filled to the full. The second window in this double here is the Beatitude, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. The main picture is Jesus with a child on his seat, giving a sign of peace. And you can tell what the situation is because of the characters that the artist has put in here. Because they have these halos, we know they're the disciples. And remember, the disciples came to Jesus and said, "Get rid of these kids. They keep coming to you and they want to talk to you and they want to be around you. And we've got important things we need to learn from you. We need to be the ones who learn." He said, "No. Whoever does not enter the kingdom of heaven like a child will never enter into it." And he calmed them down from their being upset and being angry that children were asking for time with Jesus. How blessed it is to be a peacemaker, because then you become a child of God. A child of God in that you go to him with innocence, with no preconceived notions of how things should be in your life, but trusting that God has a plan for you that's a mighty plan, a plan that's going to give you prosperity and it's going to give you strength and it's going to fill you to the full. And so this little picture of the child in his lap, the children coming to him, Jesus says, this is what your mind needs to be like. And in doing that, you become a peacemaker. You know, when we get older is when we begin to want things to be our way so much that we forget about being peacemakers with other people. This is not just about one country against another country. This is mostly about peace between two people. When I respect you like a child and I hear you like a child by listening to what you have to say, by caring about what you have to say, by believing in what you have to share with me, that's when I'm drawn closer to becoming a child of God.
We invite you to join us again next week for our final segment in this series. On the Reverend Dr. Doug Richnow will continue our journey, looking, hearing, and meditating on the next 2 Beatitude Windows. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. And blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Till then, walk in love.